What's going on YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 versus Outriders video. So it is a Division 2 video, but what we're going to do here is we're going to compare, the Division 2, how it sits right now on year 3 versus Outriders and only the demo. Because surprisingly, a lot of these comparisons are direct matches, and there are some advantages and disadvantages from these two different games. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down these two comparisons, and I'm going to let you decide which looter shooter is best suited for you. So at the end of this, let me know in the comments section below which one better suits you. Is it the Division 2 or is it Outriders? So before we get into this, because I'm going to do like a pretty good deep dive, there's several different categories that we're going to do comparisons with. But right now we're going to go through my initial thoughts. So you can see right here we are in the Division 2. This is my first character, and as I scroll you can see that there are multiple characters you can choose from. Now this one at the end, you can see in the top right that hardcore and then the logo right below it. So there are two different modes for the Division 2. There's a normal mode and a hardcore mode, and you can choose from 4 different characters. Now my first one, you can see here 101, almost 102 days played. Go to my next one, just under 19, so we're already at 121 days. Go to the third one, another 12, so now we're at what, 133 or 132, and then my hardcore character only 3 days. So now we're at what, like maybe 136 days played total. Now, of course, being a content creator, I'm going to have a lot of time played on these games because I am creating content on a daily basis. So with that being said, I have a lot of experience with the Division 2. So just remember that my initial thoughts and my opinion is just going to be based off of my personal experience and how each of these games feel. Because I have played well over 100 hours into the Outriders demo. I've tried out all the characters and classes, and I think this comparison video is going to really help you guys out. So initial thought, I'm going to say right now that I am a Division 2 favorite, and that's only because of the way the game feels and PvP. However, as far as the experience, as far as the options and the amount of content, I would say Outriders is going to outshine the Division 2 hands down. And that is even without PvP. I know a lot of people that play the Division 2 are PvP players. That's what kept the Division 1 alive, whether it be PvP in the Dark Zone, in Conflict, or in Survival. And then for the Division 2, obviously you still have Conflict and the Dark Zone. Now, that is the deciding factor for me initially. So let's go through these comparisons, and then I'll let you know how I feel afterwards. So right off the bat, the first comparison is the game options. So this is the very first part of the game. Once you log in, you create your characters. So the first comparison for the Division 2 in Outriders, you can only have 4 different characters in the Division 2. They do have a hardcore mode, which is the exact same thing as the normal mode. The only difference is if you die, you completely lose all your stuff, and then you start all the way over. So if I were to log into this character right here and die, I would lose the 3 days, 1 hour, and whatever I've played. So that's a little, tricky and more towards the veterans. Now the other characters I've chosen just normal characters, and these ones are basically like gear mules, I guess you can call them, because I hold a lot of gear on my different characters. Now all of them are connected with a stash box that is located, in the base of ops, the safe haven, for a lot of people. And with that stash, I can switch gear in and out through each of these characters. So first comparison, 4 options for the characters. You have a hardcore mode and a stash box to share all of your gear from each of your characters. Now let's go to Outriders. Alright, so now that we are in the Outriders demo, let's compare the main menu and then customization within Outriders versus the Division 2. So right off the bat, you can see there are 6 different character options compared to the Division 2 where you only have 4. And then also the Division 2 has 6 specializations where Outriders only has 4 classes. And it's, Trickster, Pyromancer, Technomancer, and then of course the Devastator. So those are your differences for the in-game, the first pop-up menu is you have more characters on Outriders, but less, classes or specializations. But another cool thing is you still have the stash, and I'll show you here in just a second. So let's go ahead and proceed to the lobby, and I will show you all of the cool customizations within Outriders. Now just note this is the demo, so just remember that we are comparing a game that is on year 3 to a demo that's not even out yet. So just keep that in mind. Alright, gotta love that load time. So now that we are in the Outriders demo, this is basically the base of ops for Outriders. So I'm going to go straight over to the customization and stash and show you guys that. Now first off, you can customize your own flag, staff, and banner. That's pretty wicked. I'll show you those options in just a second. Right here is the stash, so you will be able to transfer and share different gear from 6 different characters. That is insane. That's going to be a lot of gear. And right over here is your appearance. So going to the appearance. The appearance is pretty basic in these looter shooters, like I keep saying, and it's because I think these developers are aimed more towards the loot and the gameplay and way less interested in the customization, which kind of sucks for some, but for others they're just getting straight to the looter shooter aspect, and a lot of people love that. But nevertheless, let's check it out. So for the customization, first off, you have the head options. There's only 8 here, so pretty minimal. As for the eye color and skin color, again, only 5 options, so pretty minimal there too. Going to the hair, you can only do hairstyle, facial, and hair color. And again, not many options to choose from. And then finally, markings. So you can have markings on your character's face, which are pretty much scars. And then you can do piercings and all of that. Now, like I said, the banner. This is different from the Division 2, where the Division 2, the only banner you really have is your clan banner. And we'll talk about the whole clan and playing with friends here in a second. But going back to the customization. If you go to the customization menu for Outriders, here we go. So you can change the staff of your banner, the flagpole, as you will. And these are some pretty crazy designs. Let's just go through a few of these. Look at that. Those are crazy looking. And then it goes all the way up to like pretty basic right here, medieval, something pretty simple like that. But then look at that, man, it's crazy looking. Then you can change the flag shape and even the condition of the flag. It's pretty funny. And then going over, you can change the colors, the designs of the flags, secondary colors, primary colors, and then the sigil or the icon in the middle. You can change that as well. Pretty wicked. And there are a lot of options here, and then of course you can change more colors. But that's not it. Go over here to emotes. You have quite a few number of emotes here. Pretty much kind of like the Division 2, But remember that there are no microtransactions. Once you unlock these, you have these. They're not going to bring you more emotes to buy like Fortnite. They're not going to make you, buy clothing like the Division 2. This is just what you see is what you get. And in my opinion, that is amazing. Now, that is the appearance part. Let's go back to the Division 2 and I can show you guys more about that. Alright, welcome back to the Division 2. So you can see right here, here's the stash for the Division 2, and I just got done showing and explaining all that for Outriders. Now as far as the customization goes for the Division 2, you come over here to what's called the Barber, and this is where you can customize your character. So there are only a few options here, similar to Outriders. It seems that these looter shooters are not aimed at, a lot of customization for your appearance, where it's aimed more towards, the looter shooter aspect, the content, if you will. But nevertheless, let's look into it. So for the hair, you've got quite a few options here. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 in total. So that's quite a bit more compared to the Outriders. And then of course you have hair color, facial hair. Now there's only a few options here where Outriders outshines that. Now the cool thing next is Outriders has what's called, facial markings, and then it's all grouped into one. Whereas the Division 2, you have face paint, scars, and then even tattoos. But remember that the Division 2 is more of a real life type, aspect where they're trying to be as realistic as possible, where this is just normal things that any average Joe, would do to them in real life. Whereas in Outriders, now Outriders, it's all about, you could have the markings that are alien, you could have different piercings that are kind of out there, and then you could go, way out there with the different appearances as just a whole. Now, looking at the outfits, this is where the Division 2 outshines Outriders right now. Because remember, Outriders is not fully released. Now, going to the apparel for the Division 2, this is where things get pretty, complex, and it's really cool. You can change the gear dyes, weapon dyes, you can change your patches, you have a backpack trophy, you have all of these different outfit choices, mask choices, emotes just like Outriders, and then right here you have different outfits that are just pre-made and you can just throw them on. Now the thing is, with this also comes that ugly word that a lot of people don't like to use, and it's microtransactions. The Division 2, being a live service game, does deal with microtransactions quite frequently. So a lot of these apparel events cost real money. Just for example right here, you can see, let's go to outfits. I have every single one of these outfits. These are from either apparel events, Twitch drops, what have you, but this is just over the last couple years. Now, the part that's interesting that I wanted to show you is that if we go to the store, you can see down here at featured. Now, all of these that I own, these are just from apparel events or just drops in the game. However, they do have featured things that cost real money. So to upgrade, like say your specializations, you have to use real money here, premium credits. And the only way to get premium credits is microtransactions. So here you go, a lot of money. Whereas in Outriders, what you see is what you get. So say later on I get like a really cool looking legendary mask or whatever, I get that look, that outfit, and it's there, it's free. All I have to do is grind it and I'm good to go. Whereas in Division 2, say you want a certain outfit, you want a certain mask, you might have to actually pay real money for it. And that is one of the downfalls with these live service games, is that they do cost quite a bit of money, whether it be season passes, whether it be apparel events, whether it be just DLCs in general. All of these are to make the company money. And in Outriders, it's just going to be a full content drop, and you have all of this to go through with no hidden, microtransactions, no pay to play, none of that, and you're good to go. So that's another huge comparison right there. But while I'm on the Division 2, let's go into the next comparison, which are weapons and gear. So now for gear, we'll start with gear. Now just going to a random whatever, here we go, random build, here is your gear. Now each gear is characterized by core attributes, brand sets or gear sets, the gear sets are in green, which have their different bonuses, but there are very limited attributes. So there's only 2 attributes for the green gear, and then or 1 attribute for the green gear and 2 attributes for the high-end gold gear. And then of course you have your exotics. Now with this, you only have certain gear that has talents. Now in Outriders, they are called mods. In the Division 2, these talents only show up on 2 different gear types, being the chest pieces, you can see all of these come with different talents, and the backpacks. Again, you can see all these different talents. Now, the gloves, knee pads, holster, mask, none of these have talents. In fact, the only way to get talents on those items is to use an exotic, and you can only use 1 at a time. Where in Outriders, you can use all legendaries, which are basically their exotics, in every single slot. And I'll talk about that as soon as we switch back over. Now, as far as the gear, again, you get the full gear, mask, backpack, chest, gloves, all this. However, you only get the talents on exotics or the chest piece and backpack. Now for weapons, because we are doing gears and weapons. Now for the weapons, again, you only get 1 talent and then 1 special attribute. The rest of them are all fixed. So for assault rifles, you have assault rifle damage, health damage, and then that 1 attribute is random, and then that talent is random. Whereas in Outriders, you will get numerous talents, or they call them mods, and you have numerous attributes. So there's quite a vast difference between this game and Outriders when it comes to gear and weapons. But let's jump over there and I'll show you right now. Alrighty, back in Outriders. Let's talk about gear and weapons. So for weapons, I have green weapons, blue weapons, and legendary weapons. Now legendaries compared to the Division 2, those would be called your exotics. Now let's start off with the legendaries. Now right here, there are 2 different mods that come with each legendary item or gear piece. Now these mods are really, really strong. And the cool thing about this is you can, dismantle these legendaries and you can keep these mods in your crafting bench, and then you're able to use them for other, weapons and gear later on down the road. So that right there is another plus for Outriders. Now, as far as green weapons are weapons without any sort of talent or mod. They're just the weapon straight up. And then once you get to blue and purple weapons, that's when you start to get talents or mods. Now there are 3 fixed attributes on these weapons. You have accuracy, stability, and range. But then you also have RPMs, damage numbers, reload speed, crit, and then of course your talent or your mod. For example, for this blue weapon, I have toxic bullets, and that's only 1 mod or talent. And then of course you will be able to have epic gear, where epic gear you will have 2 mods or 2 talents. Now going over to the gear, this is where Outriders completely outshines the Division 2. Now for gear, you have different mods for each gear item. So right here you can see I've got a thermal bomb mod for the headpiece. For the upper armor, I've got another mod for overheat. For the lower armor, again, a mod for overheat. Gloves, again, another mod, this one for heat wave. And then for the boots, another thermal bomb mod. And this does nothing but help the player. It really makes that power fantasy come to life, and you feel really, really strong once you put a certain build together in Outriders. But for each of these, you can have different mods for all of the different skills in the game. And then same for gloves and all of that. Now the only difference is green gear, you have no mods. So for blue, you'll have one mod, and then once you get purple gear, you will have two mods, and then of course, legendaries, you'll have two incredible mods. Now, that is your gear and weapon, a little comparison here for Outriders. I would say as far as the gear and weapon domain, I'd give it to Outriders 100%. Speaking of which, if I go over here to the accolades, where would that be? Item management. So right here in item management, we can already see that there are going to be 46 legendary weapons compared to the Division 2. That is astronomical. And then for the legendary outfits, there are 95, where in the Division 2, there are maybe 10 total. As far as gear and weapons go, Outriders completely outshines the Division 2, not only in build diversity, but in just straight loot diversity. There's so much loot out there, and each of these legendaries have unique styles, unique mods, and unique play styles that go with them. It's a lot of fun, and it's insane the amount of variations you can get in this one game. And again, this all comes out at launch, so you have everything at your fingertips as soon as this game drops. Whereas in the Division 2, you might have a specialization that drops with a DLC that you have to pay for. There might be a certain, something to unlock, objective, hidden microtransaction, what have you. And then you come back over here to Outriders, and it's all just given to you right there at the start. And this is just another great comparison with live service games versus non-live service games, where one is aimed at making as much money as possible, and the other one is aimed at giving the consumers all the content up front, and then just hoping that the community enjoys what they get. Now, there's a lot of ups and downs between live service and non-live service, but as far as content and weapons and gear, I would like Outriders obviously is the way to go. All right, now that we are back in the Division 2, I will give you my last and final comparison and my final thoughts. Now this comparison is pretty clear. You can see in the background, it's going to be about clans. Clans and playing with friends. So in the Division 2, we have clans. Over here in the base of ops, you have your clan quarters. You can walk in here, you have your own clan vendor right here. What's up, dude? You have your own weekly cache where you can cash in on clan caches. And you'll have a clan leaderboard to see who's been, grinding it out harder than the other ones this week. Now the cool thing about this, you also have your status right here for clans, and then on the other side of this wall, you actually have clan leaderboards, whether it be for PvP, the raids, or PvE. So that is a huge plus for the Division 2, is you can have a clan. Now going into more detail, come over here, and you can have up to 50 people on your clan roster. Currently, I only have 45. So if you're on Xbox and you want to join the DoD, and whatever, let me know in the comment section. But going back here, so you have clan levels, clan projects, all of this. And what this does is it promotes playing, with others. It does not promote, just playing solo and just trying to grind it out. It actually, makes you feel like you have to have a full active clan, 50 people, all friends, whatever, get together, do raids. It's a lot of fun. Now let's go back to Outriders and look at their way of playing with friends. Okay, back at Outriders. So another cool thing to compare here is how to play with friends. So you did see in the Division 2 where you had, you can make a clan, it's up to 50 people, everyone knows when you're online, you can play together, do raids, all that jazz. It's pretty cool. However, this is where Outriders takes the cake and eats it when it comes to crossplay and playing with your friends. So right here you can have a matchmaking. Matchmaking right now is in the demo phase of Outriders, just because it is for every platform at once. That is the key here. Where in the Division 2, you can only play with people on your platform, whether it be Xbox, PlayStation, or PC. I think it's also still out on Stadia. But let's look here for Outriders. So Outriders, if you hit start, you have a party. Of course, you can have a party up to 3. But what's really cool about this is once you hit play with friends, you have different options here that are not the same as the Division 2. More importantly, right here in the bottom left corner, cross-play game modes. Now you can either generate your game code, where you give this code to your buddy who's on a different platform, whether it be Xbox, PlayStation, all these different options, PC. And you give them this code and automatically they can join your game. It doesn't matter what platform they're on, they can join your game. Really cool. And then of course, vice versa, I can click join game using code, and then once I do that, I can type it in and join their game. So this is where I love Outriders, because the Division franchise does not have crossplay. So I would be forced to play with this roster right here if I were on the Division. But for Outriders, any platform, all I have to do is hit generate code, or they can generate a code for me and I'm right there in their game. Doesn't matter what platform, what region, you're good to go. That is really big advantage when it comes to Outriders, because as a content creator, I love playing with other people and helping out the community, and there's nothing better than a game where I can help out the community on every platform. So there's no, controversy here. It's not, oh man, you're on Xbox, dang, I can't play with you. Or man, I wish someone would help me on PC. I wish you were playing on PC. All that goes out the window here, because with crossplay, I can join anyone on any platform, help them out, meet friends from all different, walks of life, and have a great time. Alright, and we're back one last time on the Division 2. And these are going to be my final thoughts, not only on the comparisons, but, which looter shooter is best suited for you. Now, going over these, I've noticed that obviously PvP is a good factor for a majority of you. I agree. PvP is highly competitive, it's a lot of fun, and you meet a lot of cool people. However, it is also a breeding ground for toxicity, for negativity, and for, bad experiences. I have gotten comment after comment after comment on my PvP build videos where there are certain agents that won't go into the dark zone, they won't play PvP, they just grind their, missions, their raids, get their gear that way and have fun that way. Reason being is they don't want to get shot in the back and emoted on, they don't want to get hate mail from the dark zone, and, things like that. They want to have fun while they play this game. Now this is where I transition into Outriders. Outriders not only allows you to cross-play with all platforms. You can play with anybody on any platform at any time. It also promotes positive gameplay, and that's what people want. People want the power factor. They want to be able to feel really powerful with their characters, but they also want to have fun doing it. We all play video games to have a good time, to have a great experience. It kind of, you know, gets us out of this crazy world that we're living in into this, cool virtual world. And I agree, it's a lot of fun. And they want to enjoy their time while doing so. A lot of people get stressed out during PvP. A lot of people don't like, drama. They don't want to see toxicity. They just want to get on, play with their friends, and have a good time. And when it comes to that, I say Outriders is the way to go. 10 out of 10. Especially with the amount of characters you can make, the amount of platforms you can play with. It just opens it up to everybody on every platform, and it just makes for a great community. The developers, I did not even go into that because I'm trying to stay away from that subject, but the developers for Outriders are so engaged with their community right now that it's hard to see any sort of negative feedback coming their way. It's insane. Every critique, every negative outlash, anything they have responded to, and they have either fixed the problem or have communicated what's going on with, if someone has an issue or something. Now, this great communication and just interaction with the community and the development team, along with the crossplay and being able, it's too much fun to pass up. So, final thoughts, I say Outriders is a great looter shooter. Now, which one best suits you is obviously up to your personal experience, and also whether you're a PvP player or PvE player. Me, I like to do both, so I will continue to play both of these games. And for right now, I am really, really excited for April 1st and the launch of Outriders. I will be making several Outrider videos, and I'll also be making several Division 2 videos. I'm going to end up covering both games because both games have this unique experience with them. I love the PvP experience in gameplay in the Division 2 and the Division, but I also love that I can play with anybody on Outriders. I think if the Division 2 or the Division had crossplay enabled, this would be a completely different subject. But the way it is right now, Outriders is going to be the way to go, and you will find me playing it. Now, let me know in the comment section below how you feel, what you thought about the comparison, whether it be the customization, the characters, the weapons, the gear, the player experience, and also my thoughts. But yeah, we'll continue this discussion in the comments down below. I'm Kamikazevondoom. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If so, make sure you hit that thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.